sauce.
Oh yeah, let's get saucy.
Yo, 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 welcome to the Weird Sauce Show. It's your host, Fradzuki, right here with my co-host, Mr. J. Stevens.
Yo, yo.
Welcome back to the show. It is Friday. I hope everybody had a good week and is doing well out there. I know we had a crazy, eventful one, that's for sure.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did. Things got a little weird. We hit a few bumps, but we came out strong in the end, and we made it.
Yes, we did.
Yes, yes. All right, well, as you know, today we have our special guest interview. So last week was horror director Rob Jabaz. If you didn't see that one, go ahead and check that out. This week we have another one of my good friends here, another longtime friend. I've been friends with this guy for a long time, and I'm super pumped that he's here. When we started making the list of must-have guests, he was on that list of the must-have guests.
Oh, he was at the top.
Second place, baby.
That's right. Hey, it's a medal winner.
It's a medal winner.
I mean, he directed a movie. It's fine.
The man directed a movie.
Okay.
Exactly.
I understand why I wasn't number one. I understand. Okay.
Yeah. But we got you in here.
Number two in the building.
Exactly. It's gonna be hot, just as hot as number one, if not hotter.
Hotter.
All right. Let's see how hot we can get it.
I'm not going to talk about anyone poking anybody's eyeballs out.
And brain fucking them.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is good. We need something a little lighter than that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So without further ado, you hear his voice. You've seen his face already at this point. He is the managing editor of Lifted Online, which is an online publication covering hip-hop music, mostly based out of Asia. He's been a long-time DJ, 20 years plus DJ. He comes out of the state of Ohio, and he is right here with us. He's been a long-time resident of Taiwan. He's been holding it down. He is Mr. Marcus Aurelius, and he's right here with us on the Weird Sauce Show.
What up? Cue the clapping. Yeah. Oh, no. I don't want to get up. No, I don't want to get up. I don't want to stand up. No. You in the back. Sit down. It's okay. Hey. Okay, hey. Slow down. Okay. We're good.
The autograph session is after the show. All the fans waiting here in the studio.
Everyone's queued up.
Add $30 to my PayPal and I'll sign your breasts.
Ooh. That's right. And there's a huge line out the studio door right now. You can't see it. It's a little bit off camera. You're going to have to take his word for it. All right, Marcus, what else should we take your word for, bro? What's happening out there? What are you doing? What's good? And enlighten us with some of that knowledge you got.
What's up? My name is DJ Marcus Aurelius. I come from Warren, Ohio. I moved to Taiwan in 1998, so I've been here nearly 23 years coming up. And in that time, I've been getting funky the whole time. But I started in a hip-hop group called the Triple Stage of Darkness. What? Most people don't know about.
What?
This is
that's news to me.
This is Triple Six Mafia's long lost cousin.
You know, we were named after what it was that the Wu-Tang Clan. If you smoke enough weed, the Wu-Tang Clan sounds like the best street corner philosophy you've ever heard, right?
Sure.
So they got these things and they're like, oh yeah, Raekwon, man. Okay, so we walked to the edge of the earth, and then we got the triple stage of darkness, and we were like, "Oh man, that shit is deep." And we're like, "What's the triple stage of darkness?" And no one knows. It was perfect. And so I did that for a bit.
Oh, what part of the group were you?
Oh, I was an MC.
Oh shit! MC Marcus Aurelius.
Wait. MC Liquid, baby.
MC Liquid.
Oh shit.
The bad flows.
Hey, yo, Marcus, let's spark this. Rock it to the triple stage of darkness. See, you ain't heard that.
Oh shit.
You ain't heard
Oh
it.
god.
Oh god.
All right.
There's a time that Fradzuki wasn't around. So he's been around like 15 years, but there was still that little bit of time where Fradzuki wasn't here that he didn't know me. So.
Well, we might have to piece it all together back again on this show right here. Bring some old flows back on here for an exclusive MC Liquid. Did you throw the MC on front, or you were just called Liquid?
I was called Friar Liquid. Was actually how I went. I went for a little bit. I was the Friar of Fraudage coming to your cottage and shit, you know.
Oh
but
God!
because my rapping was so terrible, I stopped doing it. And what happened was we actually played a lot of shows. We played Spring Scream maybe once or twice even. There was a guy named DJ who was the DJ, and we would break a record. I would hit it with a sledgehammer, and he would get up there and scratch like a little piece of the record and shit. It was pretty dope. It was a good show. We had one where we did over at Schilling Night Market, where Dabs was in the back doing graffiti and like using a blowtorch with the graffiti and stuff like that. It was a pretty live show.
Oh, so this was a Taiwan thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had just gotten to Taiwan. That's the thing, is that I got to Taiwan. I left Ohio, and Can I Get a Fuck You? Can I Get a What? Was the wackest song in Ohio, right? That was when I came out. And then 3 days later, I came to Taiwan, and I went to a club, and it was like, Can I Get a Fuck You? I was like, oh, shit, that's my jam.
Oh, yeah.
I'm around the world. Oh, shit. And so I came here because my uncle lived here, and he was a musician for the whole time he was here. He was here for 20 years. And he had a gig on Friday night, so I got here maybe like Tuesday or Wednesday, and then we went out on Friday night. And they were a cover band. At one point, they were really popular, the most popular English band in Taiwan.
Yeah.
When bands first started here, and they sucked. They were pretty bad, but they played like the band would play for a half hour, then the DJ would come on, and there was only one place in Taipei that was playing hip hop. So it wasn't, hip hop had just not popped off here yet. It was very, 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 very rock oriented. And my uncle hung out with rock people. And so all the stuff, and the song, I can't remember the name of the song, but it was so bad. And I just didn't like rock and roll. You know, I just have a thing against guitars. I just don't love guitars.
Yeah.
And so, I finally ended up starting to meet my own people, starting to find my own people. And I went to Spring Scream one year, and I saw these two guys, and they were rapping, trying to do this shit. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And so they let me join. I went to their studio sessions or their practice sessions in the thing. I joined in with them for a little bit. It was pretty dope. And then the one guy was just a flake, the other MC. So there were two MCs and one DJ. And we kicked the one guy out. So I came in, we kicked the guy out, and then we were just called Triple Stage. And so we did Triple Stage for maybe a year.
You came out of the darkness?
I came out of the darkness.
Oh, shit.
We put that guy off. And he was a really good artist and a really good MC, actually. But he just had no work ethic. He never showed up. He never showed up on time. He didn't show up for gigs. He didn't show up for practice, whatever. Yeah. So it was time for him to get rid of the darkness. That's what we said. So we got rid of him. And then the guy, DJ, who was the DJ, we ended up signing a deal with Budweiser and had like a whole summer full of like $20,000, $30,000 gigs, and his wife had to sign for it because she was the Taiwanese who had the money. Yeah. And he ended up, what did he end up doing? Stealing some of the money.
Yep.
And so I ended up getting the turntables, I ended up getting the records, and that's when I started DJing. And so I'd always been a vinyl collector, always at my friend's house playing music, always doing this stuff, but I never really DJ'd. But I was the person who carried our equipment with us, so I always had the turntables. And then boom, I started DJing, and then I was like, okay. And then one year I got kind of like the money back, kind of figured it out. We're finished with that. And I was like, can I DJ by myself? So I started getting gigs and stuff like that. So it was pretty live time, man. 2002, 2003, 2004, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and I mean, this guy has a massive record collection. You still have it, or
yeah.
How much of that do you have left?
I mean, I've got about 2,000 records, and right now, and the thing is that it's just every time I move, I hate moving the vinyl.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And so what happened, what Fradzuki's were talking about is that I moved to China. So in 2007, I decided to move to China, and I had a bunch of vinyl. I tried to sell it. I tried to do all this, and I just had gotten Serato, and I was like, damn, okay, I'm just going to throw all this vinyl out. So the final night, okay, my apartment was being cleaned. We were getting ready to move out. I was getting ready to move to China, and Fradzuki came over, and he's like, yo, you cannot, and it was raining out. Not quite as hard as today, but it was raining out. He's like, there is no way you can throw away this many records. It was probably like, say, 1,000 records.
It was about 1,000 records, yeah.
He's like, there's no way you can throw away these records. I'm like, yeah, it sucks, but I can't take them over to China. And he's like, nope. So he filled up a whole entire taxi, the whole.
That's right.
The front, the back. I mean, everything you could put in this taxi and put it in there. I was like, all right, man, boom. And so I put the rest. So, I mean, he got about 1,000. Probably there were 500 on the street. And it's just such a sad thing to look at vinyl and just watch it get murdered by rain. You know what I mean? And you're just like, oh, shit.
And I was living on the 5th floor of a building at that point. I had to haul all that shit up by myself.
Them up and down?
Yeah, no elevator, 5th floor stairs. And I was like, fuck, I don't know if I even want these records anymore.
And that was the thing. And so I moved to China. I took some 45s. I took maybe 100 pieces of vinyl with me. I took a bunch of 45s. So I did play a little bit of vinyl, but that's when I was starting to get into Serato, right? And it was just like, man, you get there and you just, it's so, China is just absolutely ridiculous. But no one plays vinyl. You're not carrying around this vinyl to the thing. And everything was changing. So it was like CDJs, whatever. And so it just kind of goes on the back burner. And then I came back from China a year later, and Fratzuki was like, yo, you want these records? Or what do you say? He kept them at his house for maybe like a year, maybe 6 months, a year, something like that.
Yeah, however long you were gone, I had them. And then when you came back and you said, yo, can I get those back? I was like, fuck yeah, dude, take them.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, take them. So I took them back. And then I do buy random shit sometimes, but I try really hard not to buy any more albums.
Right.
Because it's just too heavy. And just even in my house, I feel like I need 4 more pings. If my house was 4 more pings, my life would be 10 times better.
A ping is about a 6 by 6 foot square for those of you who don't know that.
It's the size of a small bed.
Yeah.
So and it's just like, man, records are everywhere, and it just kind of takes up space, and it's heavy to move, so.
Right. So, as you hear, he has been DJing for a long, long time. He's explored all sorts of music. Take us a little bit through that. Give us some DJ stories. You said you had some I know we personally have a lot of DJ stories together. Some are not really fit for this show. Some are fit for this show. But we're going to let him run with it and let us know some stuff about some dope DJ shit.
Yeah, so what I did was I started off DJing, and I wasn't that good because I was playing vinyl. I was practicing, but I wasn't that good. But what I was good at was having a party. And so what happened right when I first started, I had this party called Booty and the Beach. And
I like it already.
I also like it.
And so by Shaowan, where's this beach in Taiwan that just had this one woman who was there, and she had a refrigerator, and she just sold beer. And we went there, and I was like, you know what? Is it possible if I plug my turntables in and have a party here, you can sell all the beer you want, and I'll just bring some people. She's like, yeah, sure, do whatever you want. So I came, we had 4 tiki torches. That was the whole thing. And we thought maybe 100 people would come. It was a free party on the beach. No one's ever done a party on the beach in Taiwan. Come on, let's do it. And boom, 800 people came to this freaking party. Okay? And so this is one of the stories, this is one of the memories that I will take forever from this, is that it was wild. The cord was burning up. The cord was so hot. Like, it was so crazy. And then people just we had I think about 16 or 18 DJs. It was a 24-hour party on the beach. No umbrella, no nothing. Just having it right there. And we heard this, everyone starts cheering on the dance floor. The dance floor was kind of right in front of where the DJ was, but it was like the DJ booth was up a little bit. And everyone's cheering. I look over, and there's this probably like 100-pound British guy. Oh. And he's banging this 250-pound Taiwanese woman in the middle of the dance floor.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone is cheering it on. They're like, yeah. And he's screaming. The girls fucking having a good time. Everyone is just having this crazy time. And it was just so funny, man.
The Booty and the Beast mascot.
The Booty and the Beach. And let me tell you, those people, I have never seen them again except for one time.
Oh, yeah.
One time. That girl.
Oh, and they're still together?
Yeah, was this a couple? Or?
I have no idea. I never saw the guy again. I never saw them before. I never seen them again. And that's the thing, is I always know everybody, right? So it was so weird. But the girl, the place that's now Revolver, used to be a gay club called The Source. And it had 3 poles where you could dance. And so I did a few events there a long time ago before it turned into Revolver. And we had a party one time where we had 3 girls on the pole, and we're going to have a vote. And they're like, who wants to get up on the pole? And this 250-pound girl, she got up on that pole and just tore it up, and she won again. So she was like the superstar of 2 parties that I had ever, and then just
And did you recognize her right on the spot when she came out? You were like, that's the girl that was getting fucked at the other party. That's the girl.
I did. I was like, because I had never seen her. I didn't know who she was. And then just, boom, showed up. Who wants to go on the pole? Boom, she jumped up there, shook her thing, did it, won the prize money, and then disappeared. And I've never seen, and I never have any, this was before Facebook. There were no pictures. Nothing like that.
And so she's returned back to heaven.
Hell yeah.
And so she just disappeared into the ether. So
That's awesome.
that was
Oh, man.
good. But some stuff about China.
Oh yeah, we got a hot China story for you. Like he was saying earlier, there was a point in time he was holding it down in Taiwan, and then he moved off to China. He sounded really hyped about it. He sounded like, very pumped about it. And then within a year, he came back and I said, dude, what the hell happened with China? He was like, dude, it's so fucked over there. I was like, really? Like what? He goes, well, I got a story for you. And he tells me this story.
First off, Dominic Fradzuki on my going away party bought 6 shots of tequila and then dropped them all on my computer the day before I was leaving.
Oh, shit, did I?
For China. Okay? Thank goodness the computer still worked, but that would have really fucked my shit up.
Oh, that's a memory that got lost in the memory bank.
But
Sure
it was
did.
at the pool. Remember, I had my going away party at the pool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one.
And then you came up and you're just like, yeah, come on, boom. And it was just like
Because that is like rule number 1 in the DJ world.
Yeah.
You keep drinks the fuck away from a DJ's computer. And I'm a DJ, I should know that. But
He should know it.
at a Marcus Aurelius going away party, come on, shindigs like that are going down.
Loose. It's gotta get
Exactly.
Probably smoked up.
Exactly. There's going to be some collateral damage for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so playing in China, it was pretty good because I got to be known as like Taiwan's #1 party DJ, stuff like that, because you can say anything you want on a flyer.
Right.
And it's true to the people in China.
Right.
Right? So I went over there to DJ. My buddy started a company, and he had more gigs than DJs. So he would fly me around to all these bumfuck countries or these bumfuck cities, because China has so many big cities, and just fly me around. And it was dope, except it really made me lazy. If you're in China, you become lazy because there's so many people. At a 7-Eleven in China, there's 9 people working there, okay? If there's 2 in Taiwan, there's 9 in China. And this one time, I wanted a bowl of rice, okay? All I wanted was a bowl of rice in the middle of China. And I asked the waitress, I was like, hey, can I get a bowl of rice? And she told her friend, and she told her friend, and she told the other worker and the other worker. And it took like 20 minutes to get a bowl of rice because everyone's so lazy. They don't do anything, right?
Right.
So anyway, that kind of leads into this next story. The punchline of this story is that there was a 75-year-old mentally challenged man masturbating in my living room at 3 a.m.
Oh, shit.
Okay? So that's the end of the story.
I already like where this story's going, if that's the end of it.
Okay?
Jesus.
Okay? And so,
I want to know how you were involved. Keep
Yeah, what
going.
the-
Yeah.
how does this happen to somebody?
Which position were you in when you figured this out? All right.
And it's even better. He was masturbating to my girlfriend bent over on the floor. Okay, so I'll say that. So what happened was the girl I was dating at the time. We went out for the night. Came back. It was about 3 a.m. And in the kitchen was leaking. A pipe from the kitchen was leaking. Okay, and we had just been there a couple months maybe, and we didn't know where to turn the water off on the floor to stop the leaking. So our kitchen was down maybe about a foot. And so it was filling up with water. So we went downstairs to get the guards. We said, hey, where's this at so we can turn the water off?
Yeah.
The guards come up, they find they're somewhere in the hallway. It's just a regular apartment. And what happens is that we start cleaning the water off out of the kitchen. But a little bit of the water started going into the living room. Okay? So it had a wooden thing, right? And so we were using like a dustpan to just pour water and put it in the sink, do this just to get it out because the water stopped. And then I look over, and one of the guards, who definitely had his like one eye going this way and one eye going that way,
Right.
he sat down on the couch. And I was like, what's this guy doing? They're like, oh, it's fine.
This is the security for your building.
This is the three security guards there.
Okay.
2 are helping me clean like a foot of water out of my kitchen, and 1 guy's sitting on the couch. And then the water had gotten a little bit on the wooden part over there. So my girlfriend at the time, she bent over, and she's like wiping the floor. Okay, so she's on her knees, wiping the floor, and then I look over, and the guard just pulls his pants down, pulls his Johnson out,
And whips his old wang
and
out.
just starts jacking off right there in the middle of my living room.
Right,
Okay?
right in the middle of the fix.
Right in the middle of the living room. My girlfriend's right there. She's like looking down,
Oh,
so I don't
fuck.
see it. And so I'm like, what the hell is going on? No. Start screaming at these guards. Okay? They laugh. Okay? Me bamfa. In Chinese, that means, oh, it's no problem. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But that was my word. That in China, that's all people say when they don't want to do shit and I'm like, yeah, there's a problem here. Yeah. This old man is jacking off right in front of my girl. My girl starts screaming at him. She looks up. Okay? So, within 30 minutes, the landlord ends up coming over. Okay?
Yeah.
He didn't start jacking off on the couch too, did he?
Just on her back.
How long was this going on? How did that episode end? Did you go over there and check him, or
I'm getting to the end of it.
Did you get him a tissue, get all cleaned up, or how did this end?
I would say he probably was only masturbating for 30 seconds. Okay, so he didn't. It wasn't like he was busting it out for long because I started screaming at him.
Sure.
But the incident from him masturbating to me going to sleep was like 2 hours.
Right.
Okay. So the landlord comes there. And the landlord's like, I'm sorry about this guy. What can we do? How much money do you want? Okay? Because in China, that's the only way to fix any problem is how much money do you want?
Right.
Okay? How much money do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Don't shout Jen. And I'm like, I said, let me think about it. So we were there. It was just a big mess. We got everything cleaned up. Got the hell out of there. We wait a day. We're thinking about it, okay? So we said, okay, what we want for this guy is a month of free rent, okay? So say it was $300, okay? The rent, and my girlfriend, who didn't feel safe that this guy is a security guard walking in and out every day.
Sure.
She said, can you move, because we lived in a place with a bunch of buildings, can you move him to a different building?
Right.
Okay? Not too bad, right? So.
Seems very reasonable.
Reasonable, right?
Seems very reasonable.
Okay? They flipped out. They were like, oh my God, do you know this guy is the brother of the gangster? This guy is this guy is this guy is this, blah, 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 blah. You can't, his salary for a year is $300. You know what I mean? Like he can't pay you this much money. You're so rude. You're so this, I'm like, this dude was in my house jacking off.
Right.
It's not my fault that this guy was doing it. It's this guy. And they're like, oh, he does it all the time. He does all this crazy shit all the time. And I'm like, well, maybe he shouldn't be the nighttime security guard at the building,
he
right?
shouldn't have a fucking job.
He shouldn't be around people if he's doing shit like that.
I mean, Jesus.
Okay? And so they moved. So the only thing they did, they ended up not getting any money from them. Okay,
well, of course.
And then they moved him from our building for maybe 1 week. Okay, and that's the end of the story. It was just like, and so these little things that happen in China. I was there for 8 months, and it was just it's a wide, wondrous place, but it's just so much stuff that drives you crazy every day.
Yeah.
Like I lived here for 4 or 5 years, or maybe 6 years first, and Taiwan kind of works. Okay, there's a lot of red tape for some things, but in China, things just are insane.
The bureaucracy and just getting anything done.
Just bureaucracy is crazy. I saw probably 10 fistfights in the middle of the street in 8 months, and probably 6 of those were guys beating up women. You know what I mean? By not having a democracy, they just it's like a boiling pot where it's just like people are going crazy. I mean, my friends these girls were like, hey, you guys want to go back to your house? And they're like, sure. And they get in the taxi with them. They're about to go back, and then they go, they took him to the police station, but it wasn't the police station. It was the room next to the police station that their friend rented, and they had cops that were helping them try to like scare them out of money. So everywhere they'd say, oh, they beat me up. They did this, and they'd have to sit there and yell at them, argue with people for like 3 hours, and then they got off. They didn't have to pay the people, but it just was a stressful, you're drunk, you're having a good time.
Right.
And you get this stuff.
Turns
happening.
into a fucking situation.
Yeah, it turns into a situation. So China just wasn't, and then the Olympics were coming up in 2008, and they started changing the visa situation.
Yeah.
Almost daily. So they were like, okay, you got to do this. So all these people that were there on freelance visas, you couldn't be there anymore on freelance visas. And that was artists, dancers, DJs, MCs, everybody gone. So I knew a guy who had 6 restaurants, and he had a week to leave to leave China.
Damn.
Okay. So and it was before you could go to Hong Kong for a visa run. You could do whatever, and this was like, nah, finished.
Your life's over. Get the fuck out.
And you couldn't leave, go and deal with it for like 2 months and then come back maybe.
Yeah.
But it just made everything so much harder and so difficult. And so when I was there right before the Olympics, there was this huge cleanse of like, you know, you've heard about like in Korea and stuff like that before the World Cup, they just come and put all the homeless people in jail. They do all this stuff to clean all the streets and whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they're doing. They're just cleaning all of, you know, like anyone who's not here putting into the economy, doing whatever, you're out. And so it was pretty crazy. And then I came back and it was live, man. Taiwan. And the thing is like I had this, I really was like, man, I want to get out of here. I love Taiwan, but it's just so small. And then I went somewhere that was sucked. And it was just like, it gives you so much like love for Taiwan.
Yeah, sucked and way bigger, right?
Yeah, it's way bigger. You're like, oh, I got this. And then you go there and you're just like, wow, that building's bigger, but it's just a freaking building that's empty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah. What I've always said is that China looks like a big pile of shit with a bunch of diamonds in it.
Sure.
And so from far away, you look at this and you're like, whoa, that's shiny. Oh my goodness, look over there. It's shining over there. And then you get closer and closer and it's just a big pile of shit.
And you can smell it, and it's a big dookie.
Oh yeah, dude.
And it smells like their train stations.
Yeah. Yeah, and you hear horror stories like this all the time from foreigners, that they have something going on in China and then something happens, the police roll in, you're deported and your life's over, or you're getting extorted, or some crazy shit's happening. You can't get to the bottom of it because the police are in on it too. Yeah. It's a big mess. So,
and they always say that there's so many cops, there's whatever, but I disagree 100%. There's no police. There's only one law in China, is get yours. Okay, get yours. Figure it out. Figure out how you want to get it, how you got to get it. Get yours. That's 100% it. And so, obviously, I've been back for I think 13 years. Things have changed and gotten better, but it kind of loses the charm of why you're there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, it was a great experience, and I loved going there. I got to kick it a lot. I got to play a lot of poker every day because I only had to work 2 days a week, so it was great.
right.
But it's just, you know, it just made me feel lazy because I wasn't working very much. I was sleeping every day till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I was doing all the stuff. And so you get there and you feel like you're becoming Chinese.
Right.
You know? And so one person said this to me. Everyone tries to jack you for your taxi. So they'll just walk like 20 feet in front of you and try to take the taxi, right? And so one day it was like raining. I was trying to go there and someone like grabbed me on my shoulder when a taxi was open. I elbowed him out of the way. I moved this, got in a taxi, looked back, and I saw, and it was like this grandma and grandpa. And I was like, oh my God, I'm becoming Chinese.
Yeah, who have I become?
Yeah. And I was like,
Who have I
okay.
become?
And so when all the stuff happened, I was like, well, could I go back to Taiwan with my tail between my legs? And I got back here and everyone's like, welcome back. Let's go. Let's gig it. You know what I mean?
Back to the civilized world.
And so it's I see the things and I hear the things about China, and just when they say like, oh, China's going to be the greatest economy in the world and all this stuff, I disagree. I think it's going to, it's boiling. Everything is boiling.
Right.
And it's going to explode over very, very soon.
Well, there's the saying, you know, you can't buy class with money. So that's true when you meet Chinese people a lot of times on the international tourist scene. If you're traveling like Thailand or something and you run into a group of Chinese people, there's pretty much complete disregard for the rules. They just kind of do what they want. They
shit
run
on
their
the
own
fucking
agenda.
streets and shit, man.
They don't mix very well. That's just kind of the general experience that most people have with them. And as you can hear from my boy Marcus Aurelius, who lived there, it's the real shit.
It's the real shit. They don't use diapers. For the kids, they just have their ass cut out, and they just hold their kids up at the grate, and they just hold them out, and they just shit on the ground.
It's economical, dude. You don't have to keep buying diapers. I mean, let's get serious.
For people in poverty, how much 10 diapers per day costs. You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
well, usually people in poverty, you can at least put like a cloth diaper and wash that shit out or something instead of holding the kid outside and letting him shit everywhere.
Yeah, man. I mean, what I always thought about China was you take anything you don't like about Taiwan and multiply it by 1,000.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so anytime you hear like people like here, every second, everywhere you walk, there's someone doing that in China because there's just so many more people, you know?
Well, I read when they opened up Disney Shanghai, they had like an opening weekend where none of the rides were open. They just opened it up so people could walk through and start chatting and talking about it and stuff. They completely destroyed it. People were like walking off the path, walking all over the flowers, shitting on the side of the tree that's in the garden, stuff like that. Like people were having picnics there, leaving all the trash. They broke a bunch of the plants and flowers. And so they had to close down for like another couple weeks to fix all the damage.
Before they even fucking opened.
Before they even opened. And it was simple shit like stay on the paved path. Look, we have all these roads. Like just don't walk into the garden. And it was like, my kid needs to take a shit. Oh, look, there's a tree. Let me step all over the flowers, and like you said, let the kid shit and piss all over the tree, and then you just wipe him up, and you throw the paper towel next to it, and you walk off. And then you have literally tens of thousands of people walking around Disneyland doing this, and it just completely destroyed the whole thing before they even opened up.
I mean, I was at a restaurant in fucking Thailand. I was outside having a cigarette at a restaurant in Thailand, and I'm out there, and fucking kid walks out, fucking drops his pants, shits right on the fucking side of the road, bends over, his mom comes out, wipes his fucking ass, throws the tissue on the ground, and they walk back inside to finish their meal.
Chinese family?
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, there's been reports of that too. That shit happening on an airplane. I remember reading a story about that old Chinese grandma that's grandson had to take a shit, so she put the newspaper right in the middle of the aisle, and then the little boy started shitting right on the paper in the middle, and they're like, "What the hell are you doing?" And she was like, "What? This is what you do." Like, no, we have 6 lavatories here. That's what you do.
Yeah, that's nasty.
But all right, so I think enough about China. We also know we got you on, as you can see, DJ Marcus Aurelius. We weren't really knowing that you were MC Liquid back there. The priest, the
Friar Liquid, the man flows.
Friar Liquid. All right,
Friar Fraudage.
We might have.
Fraudage was where you rub up into somebody. You know what I mean? Like when you're dancing, it's called like fraudage. When you're like, when you're trying to talk to a girl that's like behind you and shit, you're like, what's up? I was like, Friar of Fraudage coming to your cottage, girl.
So was this like the friar, like the priest thing, or like the you were spitting hot grease, so you're like the friar?
All of it above.
Oh, yeah,
but both work.
They both work. The priest,
they both work.
But you had all those genius ideas wrapped into the one. The hot friar spitting hot grease, and then the friar come to your cottage.
There you go, yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so like we said, we got DJ Marcus Aurelius in the house. You got a long history of doing lots of DJ shit. We wanted to ask you, what is your most requested song of all time, bro?
Oh, shit.
And do you love this song, or do you just never want to hear this song again in your life?
The funny thing about requests is that I actually like requests.
Yeah.
Okay? I look at it as a pop quiz to the DJ.
Especially when you wrap up the request in a nice $20 bill.
And it's very funny that, like you can tell so much about a person about how they come up and give you a request. If they come up and like, hey, play this, da-da-da-da, they're just, like not having a good time. Just kind of like they're not going to have a good time no matter what.
They're the worst.
They're the worst. And so I actually don't mind. And so I think the one song that I hated the request for was Despacito.
Had to be.
Oh,
that's another DJ confirmation right here.
Okay. And because that time, I would say there was like a year of hardcore Despacito requests. I think that what that has made more people request songs now. Okay, because now they were hey, the DJ played Despacito because it made the whole dance floor go crazy. So they got braver. Okay, so Despacito, now people...
Right.
The funniest request I get all the time in Taiwan, which is, can you play Latin music? Okay? What they actually mean is, can you play Despacito? But they're too scared that Despacito is old or played out.
Right.
They don't want to hear that. Or they don't want to say that to your face because you have to actually be there, right? But... They want to hear Despacito, and now that's turned to, because Latin is so popular, that's turned to Bad Bunny, okay? And so Bad Bunny is that guy releases probably 2 or 3 albums with 20 songs apiece each year, Okay? 'Cause
Yeah.
he's just riding this little. He's probably more popular than Drake, even. You know what I mean? On Spotify,
Wow.
I think he's the most popular artist, and so he just puts out so much shit, and so you're putting out so much stuff. Everyone, your numbers go up like crazy, right? So he's kind of gaming the system like that. But man, people come and request. So I would say that's the worst one.
Because Despacito was an absolute craze. I mean, you've DJ'd a long time. I've DJ'd a long time. There's certain songs throughout time to where you're like, man, this is the jam. It's hot for like a couple years.
Yeah.
People it can even be a couple years old. You still put it in the playlist. It's still hot. A lot of songs have a shelf life. And then there's those absolute songs that people could hear 10 times a night for the next 3 years. That was one of them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of going into that too. I was thinking, so if you know that someone's probably going to come up and request Despacito throughout the night, do you put that in your list for the night already, or you wait for somebody to request it, or how do you usually go about that?
Despacito got to a point where I never wanted to play it.
Right.
But I would play it if someone requested it, because
Sure.
I look at requests like I used to go to ICRT and have like everyone request songs right now, and I'll try to mix them all together and try to have like a little quiz. So I think it's fun to do that until you keep getting play Latin music, play Despacito, play Latin music, play Despacito, play Latin music, play Bad Bunny. And so it gets kind of tiring for that.
Sure.
So when I look at people that walk in a club, I can tell some people who are going to be a requester. Okay? I can look at them and go, oh, that person's going to come up and talk to me.
Fuck.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And then there's a person,
He's
like,
right. There
is a look of it.
There is a look.
And then
I'm
there's
telling
sometimes
you.
like requesting. We could have a 10-hour podcast on requesting, because I got so much. Like this one dude came up and was like, "Hey man, can you play NWA Fuck the Police?" I was like, "Yeah, cool man, dope, good request." You know, you give them a little bit of love so that if they request songs, if they request something that's good, you want good shit. So I play NWA Fuck the Police, and then like a half hour later, he's like, comes up and goes, "Hey man, can you play Britney Spears Toxic?" And I was like, "What?
No.
Come on, what happened
Hey,
to
this
you?
one's for my girl, man. This one's for my girl.
What happened to you?" He's like, yeah, I just like the beat, man. The Neptunes are dope.
Yeah,
Dude. 6 shots of tequila.
You know,
Don't
and
hate
so-
on Britney, man. She's going through a tough time in her life.
You know, and so, I mean, I just look at it like you're there as the DJ to make people happy.
Right.
Okay, that's your job. And yes, you can make people happy in certain ways, but your main job, if everyone's standing there and there's enough people to be there and no one's dancing, you're failing at your job, right?
Yeah.
So if playing Latin music or Despacito makes people dance, then you should be playing Latin music to get people to dance. And a lot of recently too is that a lot of Latinos have come to Taiwan. So it's become crazy, like students, stuff like that. They've gotten a lot of scholarships here. But I would say that, you know, like, cool it with the requests. Or just, if you want to request, put something, like if someone comes in and gives you a request that's kind of with the style you're playing, if you're playing some house music that's funky and someone comes up and requests, some Daft Punk or something like that, it's cool because it's in that style, it's in whatever. But if someone comes up and requests like Kenny Loggins' Footloose while you're in the middle of something else, you're just like, what the hell, dude?
Not gonna work, bro.
You know?
Well, yeah, and that's a lot more with your kind of style of DJ,
Yeah.
open format DJing.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of DJs these days are more specified, like you play techno or you play house or
Yeah.
you play this. So mixing all the genres is kind of out of the question. But he plays a lot of open format. He plays a lot of big things that do require lots of different genres. So you're running into a lot of people that request a lot of different shit, right?
Yeah, it's true. I play, because that to me, it's the gift and the curse. Like, it's great I can play almost every party, but also it sucks that I have to like hear bullshit. You know what I mean? I have to hear this. So one dude did a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, I guess now, is this guy came up and was like, "Hey man, can you request a song? Can I request a song?" I was like, "Yeah, whatever. What do you want to hear?" He goes, "I want to hear something from the Dirty Dancing soundtrack." And I was like, okay, cool. So I played I've Had the Time of Your Life, you know, that bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Probably like 10 minutes later, he came up and he's like, "Hey, man." And I'm like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Can I hear a song from the Top Gun soundtrack?" And I was like,
Yeah, I still got that. I got that one.
"Highway to the Danger Zone."
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Okay. And then he came up and he was like, "Hey." I was like, "What's up?" He's like, I don't listen to any. I only listen to the soundtracks." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." So he's like, "Can you play something from Coyote Ugly?" And I was like, "Okay, whatever, man."
Be like, hey, bro, I'm going to give you a playlist, and you can listen to something else besides
What a fucking
music
weirdo.
that made it into a movie.
What a
And
weirdo.
so, dealing with thousands of requests in my life, I've never had someone only request a song off soundtracks more than once.
Right.
You know?
Speaking of artists, you've seen a lot of artists. You've heard a lot of different types of music and
Yep.
stuff. Give us 3 artists that we should know about that are a little bit more underground or something. You're like, yo, this guy is absolutely dope. He was over here a couple weeks ago. We were kicking it. He turned me on to a dope rapper. I'm sure you got lots of cool, dope shit. His job, like we said earlier, is he is an editor for an online hip-hop magazine. So he's based on covering stories of hip-hop artists, staying in the know, getting plugged into some underground shit. So who should be some people we should be looking out for the rest of this year?
Well, what I see right now is that females are just where it's at right now.
Like in the rap game, or just
in the rap,
DJ?
in the rap game. Let me just back it up a little bit. The website I do is focused on Asian hip hop.
Asian hip-hop,
Okay.
yeah. Lifted.
So it's lifted Asia, and it's focusing on Asian hip hop. And so what I've got to do, because I've been in Taiwan so long, I kind of know all the dope shit here. But what my job has been is to just search and find all the dope, cool shit that's happening in Hong Kong, in Thailand, in Pan-Asia. So there are 24 countries of Pan-Asia, right? So I'm just trying to find what's the cool shit and cover that and let people see in English, like, oh, this dude's doing it, okay? So,
Yeah.
So let me give you an example of what I did yesterday, okay? And there's a lot of different MCs because Asia is huge, okay? There's this guy, and his name's Emil, I think his name was, and I just saw this video, and I had no idea what any of the words were, okay? But his powerful flow was just like boom, 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 screaming, just kind of like on the top of this mountain and just doing it. And I was like, wow, this dude is dope. It came up on my Instagram because I have Asian hip hop, the hashtag, right?
Yeah. Where's he from?
So it's from India.
Okay.
So I looked this shit up on YouTube, and he's got 2 million views on this video already in 2 or 3 days, right? And he's
Wow.
one of the biggest rappers in India. I mean, he's crazy, but it's just like this little thing where I'm now trying to find things maybe that I don't understand,
Yep.
but I'm just trying to get the feel of it, the flow of it, you know what I mean? And so I did find an English translation of the lyrics, and I kind of went through that, and he's really trying to like talk about, I got demons inside me, I got this, da 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 da, and so I wrote an article about it, and so that's what my job is, to find like cool, crazy shit that's happening. But as far as Asia, I can give you a couple Asian artists.
Yeah, give us 3. I mean, because we know, it's endless when we say give us dope artists. We could talk
Right.
about that for 5 hours. So it doesn't have to be the ultimate top 3 of all time, but just 3 artists that maybe the average listener would be like, okay, never heard of them, but it's dope shit.
This woman in Thailand named Pyra, okay?
How do you spell that?
Pyra. She's a rapper, kind of a singer, but she thinks like all her shit is dystopian. She thinks the world is here, whatever. But she's so dope. She had her hair, instead of pigtails, she had them wrapped into dicks. Okay, so she had 2. So instead of like a pigtail hanging out like that, she had it wrapped up. So there were 2 balls and 2 dicks.
Oh, so
coming
like
out
the
of there.
Princess Leia with the update.
Yeah, but with the dicks sticking
princess-
out,
Two dicks
right?
on her head.
The Princess Leia buns with the big cock
the big
coming out
dick.
of them.
Yeah.
Wow, good
and
for
so
her.
and her thing was just kind of like talking about how there's a lot of political stuff going on in Thailand, but also like the old fat white dudes coming there to try to get on chicks, right? And stuff like that. And so she's kind of trying to break that people look at Thai women as that, right? And so I thought she was pretty good. Who else? Who else is really?
You were talking about Prop Deep. Is he someone to throw on the list, or?
I mean, there's a lot of really dope nicknames that people have that aren't from Thing, and I think Prop Deep is probably the second most famous rapper in India. So he's really, really dope, and he's super like. He's trying to find himself too. He's doing all this stuff, and so I think he's a really good one.
And you would say, hold on, you're saying he's number 2 behind who? Who's like is there a king of Indian hip hop?
There is a Jay-Z of Indian hip hop named Divine.
Divine. There's
Okay.
a little fun fact for you.
Okay.
Divine, the king of Indian hip hop.
And the reason why this is a really good story. He's started this thing called Gully Hop, Okay, which is a super dope name for rap. Gully rap, I think it is. Gully
Yeah,
rap.
we just reviewed some music styles last week, so
Yes, we did.
gully rap, we have to keep that in.
Yeah, so put some of that in. But he became his father once. He was rapping in English, and he wasn't really getting anywhere. And then his father was like, "Yo, rap in Hindi, man. That's what people want." And as soon as he did that, that changed the whole game for all the artists in India. They just started rapping in their native language instead of trying to emulate what's happening with Jay-Z or Kanye. What they did was try to be themselves, and it's just skyrocketed. So this Gully Hop, there's not a documentary, a movie called Gully Boy that talks about the rise of Divine and stuff like that. And so that's pretty dope. This guy that I was just saying, this Emil guy, he was in the movie as himself. Like, that's how popular he was. He was in the movie. He was just doing a cameo as himself. So there's a lot of, so it's in what I'm doing right now is kind of the perfect job for me.
Right.
Because I love hip hop. I know hip hop. I know all the stuff about hip hop, like the history. I feel like a hip hop historian, but no one has like there's a lot of different scenes. So there's a Hong Kong hip hop scene that's been going for 25 years, 30 years.
Right.
But no one's kind of like put it all together with Taiwan, with Thailand, with all this stuff. And so that's what we're trying to do. So it's a very interesting, very fun time to do, you know? I'm learning a lot.
If you want to check out more of that, we'll drop the link down in the description below. That's to the Lifted website. You can check out
Lifted Asia right here, baby. Lifted. Put it there.
That's
put it
right.
there for me. Put it there.
All right, we put it right on your chest.
Yeah. Woo.
All right, let's go ahead and flip that topic completely around.
Yeah.
You just gave us some dope shit. Who is some undope shit? Like, out of all your times as a DJ, who have you just learned to despise and hate? Like, I know I have some people too. It's not my episode, but for you as a DJ, you're like, you know what? This artist sucks. His music's whack. His flow sucks.
Can I talk about the DJs in Taiwan? Oh, wait, no.
Oh, shit.
No. I'm just kidding. That was one of the questions you sent me about who's the worst music group of all time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So I hate Elvis. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Elvis he wrote the most, but he never meant shit to me. Creed, Nickelback. These guys suck.
Oh yeah.
Kevin Federline, Britney Spears' husband had an album out. Okay. The Insane Clown Posse sucks. Chumbawamba, they suck really bad.
Oh yeah.
Chumbawamba.
God, I hated that.
LMFAO.
Oh, dude, come on. They weren't bad.
Here's the thing. They were Quincy Jones's cousin or grandkids or something
Right,
like that.
yeah.
And so they really, and I've heard the story of how it's kind of like how they got famous with Steve Aoki and shit, and it's just it's pretty whack.
Okay, so you're not feeling them on that level.
But I mean, like stuff like Party Rock Anthem, I have played that and Shots and stuff like that, but I just think it didn't hold up very well as like, if you would say, what are the top 10 club bangers of the 2010s? Probably an LMFAO
Party
song.
Anthem had to be in there.
Party Rock Anthem has to be in
Yeah,
there.
I would think so.
But if you hear it now,
No.
it sounds pretty bad.
Yeah, fuck that.
It even sounds bad at the Brass Monkey.
Oh, damn.
Sick burn.
Okay. But what I came up with, also the Black Eyed Peas, I think, they were pretty good in the beginning, but then they kind of killed themselves. But I think the worst music I could think of would be Limp Bizkit.
Oh.
Okay.
Ooh.
I want to say like.
Well, you knew this was coming. He said he hated rock music and guitars earlier in the episode, so.
I mean, nu metal was to me like sacrilegious because I was a hip hop kid, right?
Right.
And so it was just like adding all this with Jay-Z and Linkin Park. I was not feeling that. Like even when Chester Bennington died, I had to like be forced to play some Linkin Park tracks. I just never really liked the style of hard. I like funk.
Right.
And so I feel like metal is the opposite of funk.
Yeah, it clashes.
It's just not there.
Sure.
And so Limp Bizkit, this guy there's a song called In Together Now with Redman, Method Man, DJ Premier made the beat.
Oh, yeah.
And Fred
Yeah, I know that
Durst,
song.
Okay.
Yep.
And DJ Premier, they asked him on a podcast, they were like, what's the most money you got for a beat? He's like, yeah, this beat for Limp Bizkit. And everyone's like, oh, take the money. And this guy, this DJ that I know, made what he calls the Durst List remix. The Durst List remix. So he took Fred Durst out of the whole song, and you could just play the Redman and Method Man one, and it's a dope ass jam, man.
Yeah, as
It's
everyone
so
wants
good.
it to be.
And so I just feel like, like Faith, like that was my jam with George Michael.
Right.
And then what did Fred Durst do it to it? It's like the Smooth Criminal, Alien Ant Farm did that,
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
wants to see that shit.
No.
I just feel like it doesn't hold up very well.
Well, I think Fred came for a concert here
Yeah,
in Taiwan not too while back and got
he-
fucking disrespected.
He got raked over the coals,
Yeah,
deservedly
he got
so.
fucking
And that was even
poo-pooed straight out of the country.
That was even in my notes too. I was like, oh man, I remember him here.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine that everywhere he goes, it's the same thing. Like people are like, oh, Limp Bizkit's gonna sell us some tickets, and then you pay them. I don't know what does.
I think like 50 fucking people showed up or something. Like something just
it
bad.
was a rock festival. I remember it was like a big rock fest, and that was their headliner, and they just did a terrible job. So I think that if you listen to any Limp Bizkit song from now for the rest of your life, it won't be good. And it wasn't good then. Maybe with MTV, maybe whatever, but it's just not good.
Right. Well, there's more people lined up outside of our studio to get their chest signed by Marcus Aurelius than there was at the Fred Durst concert.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
I mean, oh man, Limp Bizkit it's just not good music. That's it.
Right. Okay, now I know you've been doing the editing thing. You've been doing lots of stuff in the reporting area. He's used to be a reporter for a website here in Taiwan. What was that, Wakao?
Wakao.
All right, and he was interviewing a lot of big electronic music DJs when they came through, some other big artists when they came through. You've had the chance to interview quite a lot of artists. Who would you say is the coolest artist you've ever interviewed, or the one that you said, you know what, that's a cool motherfucker. I really enjoyed that dude. I respect him after giving that interview, and he didn't act like an asshole. He's a really quality dude.
I had a column in the Taipei Times called The Vinyl Word for 10 years before the Taipei Times died, or whatever it's doing now. And I got to interview, because I'm in Taiwan, it's amazing. I got to interview a lot of superstars. And so the coolest guy, of course, is Chuck D. Okay, I got to interview Chuck D and Professor Griff at the same time, and that was unbelievable. I mean, just being in the presence of Chuck D, who's like my hero from Public Enemy, I think that was great.
And tell everybody who Professor Griff is.
Professor Griff is like the S1Ws were kind of like their crew of they would be dancer soldiers type thing. And so I had a Professor Griff album that I found in Taiwan, and I was like, hey, man, check this out. Can you sign it? And he's like, yeah, cool. I don't even have a copy. And I was like, do you want it? He's like, nah. Wow. But, I mean, the crazy thing is that Public Enemy was in Taiwan. That was crazy. And they had to go and, they decided they were going to cancel, and the guy went to their concert the day before and, gave him money to bring him over and shit like that, so... Right. Flavor Flav couldn't leave the country because his visa. I think he has problems with his visa.
You interviewed Flavor Flav?
No. Flav didn't make it.
Okay.
But the coolest situation that I had was it was going to be my first time being in a press scrum. Okay, so they said, Fatboy Slim is here. You're going to have 10 people screaming out questions with him. So you're going to have 20 minutes where you get to sit and chill, but you get to scream out questions and talk to him. But they told me, they said Taiwanese people who are the interviewers will just say something like, hey, do you like Taiwanese food? Okay, right. You can get some cool questions in because any artist will focus on you because it's good, right?
Yeah.
So I show up, sat down in a chair. There's no other press people. So I got to interview Fatboy Slim for 25 minutes by myself.
That's dope.
And so that was super cool. And then we got to go to the show. He took off his shoes before, and I was behind the stage and shit like that. And that was really, really, really a good one.
He asked you to hold his shoes while he DJ'd?
Yeah, what did he do with the shoes?
He just,
I forget your name. You give a good interview. Hold these shoes for me, buddy.
Yeah. And so that was a great time. I mean, it was just really something where it's if you're in America, and if I was working at some kind of publication, I would be number 100 on the list before I got to interview these people. But here, I'm the only person interviewing electronic people. And let me say I got to interview 2 more people who were really dope too. I got to interview Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine together.
Oh shit!
That's
I mean
huge.
that I don't know why that's not the number one. Maybe the interview didn't go well. Tell us why.
I'll tell you why it was crazy, because they make you do so much to interview Dr. Dre. You got to do a lot of shit.
It must be a.
Do you have to buy? Do you have to buy a pair of Beats?
Okay. what they wanted to do was they were here and they only wanted to talk about Beats headphones.
Oh,
Sure,
see,
yeah.
there we
Okay.
go. See, I knew
So-
this was going somewhere.
But Dre was performing with Snoop that night for the first time or second. They did the night before in Singapore, but they were doing it. First time they had performed together in 10 years.
Right.
Okay? So they were making all this stuff, and they were saying, and so I had to give them the interview questions first. If you ask the wrong question,
See ya.
your thing would be broken, your recording device would be broken, and you would be thrown out. So we're at the W, and Dre comes in, and this is like total 100% jacked Dre.
Oh, yeah.
He is jacked, and it's just like every person gets 10 minutes, and so I was like the third or fourth one, and you can only ask questions about beats. And the whole time I just wanted to be like,
Jesus.
ask the last question. It was Detox, so Detox hadn't come out, and I just wanted to say, when's Detox coming out? When's Detox coming out?
Here's a
And
real
they're gonna-
question, Dr. Dre.
And then he's going to be like, boom, security, get him out, blah, blah, blah. Because the whole thing is, anytime you ask the wrong question, if you report, hey, Dre said Detox is coming out next week, no one reports about the Beats headphones. They
Right.
only report about the thing. So they know, I understand that now. But at that time, I was like, oh, I just want to do this, and stuff like that. And so to get them together, I mean, if you've seen the Defiant ones, they're like buddy. That was like around when they were doing the headphones right at the beginning too. And so it was just, that was crazy, but it definitely wasn't the best because you're scared. There's probably 3 or 4
Right.
bodyguards
Right.
in there that are just, if you say anything wrong, you're done. And so it's Dr. Dre. It's just a level that's so high. You know?
Yeah. Oh,
So-
yeah. The legend, the man.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so
dude.
it's just like, I just look at like, I'm a dude from Warren, Ohio, and I got to interview Dr. Dre as one of the 5 media people that got to interview him. Where if I was in New York City or Florida or wherever, I would be number 5,000 on the list to interview him, So
Right.
Taiwan has been good to me in that sense, for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
Right.
crazy.
We got one more question for you, then we're going to start winding some things down.
Yeah.
Speaking of Taiwan being good to you, speaking
Yeah.
of crazy Asia stories, speaking of you being a DJ, what would you say is your number one DJ experience in Asia? Like the number one party you played? Doesn't have to be the biggest one, the one that you just signifies. You're like, you know what? That was some dope shit. If I had to play one more party again, that's the one.
I think that what I'm most proud of myself about is creating pool parties here in Taiwan.
Yeah, he
I was
is the man, the legend.
I was the first person to ever do pool parties in Taiwan. I was the first person to ever do a beach party in Taiwan. And so I'm most proud of giving people quality.
Right.
Okay? So I've never like there's a time where it's just play all EDM, just do this. I've always played what I wanted to play. I've always played some hip hop. It's not that I haven't played Party Rock Anthem, but I've had some hip hop with that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so the Havana pool parties that I started in Taiwan, I feel that that's a great accomplishment, and we did that for 12 or 13 years, and that's great, and still it's incomparable to what's happening now. I think that the beach party, the guys who did Summer Aquarium Beach Party, they said they went to my party and they started their party because they saw how much fun mine was. And I'm still trying to do beach parties, and it's still almost impossible here in Taiwan.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, there's been a lot of imitators on your parties throughout the years. That's probably a whole nother episode by itself, huh?
That is. But I mean, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But
Right.
Exactly.
fuck those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he's done Halloween parties out here, beach
Yeah.
parties,
And so-
everything.
And so my Halloween party that I've got up there, the Urban Nomad is fucking dope. The one that we do on the beach for New Year's, I have 3 festivals that I run per year, and they're all amazing. It's good. So I feel that over the time that I've been here, I've been able to learn how to make quality events that are affordable for people, that are fun, people have a great time when I do these things. And so it's great. I've had a great life. So I couldn't if I had to pick one, I would say one of the dopest things I ever did was bring Major Lazer before they got here, Diplo and Major Lazer.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they were still kind of bubbling. They weren't huge like they are now.
I remember that show. That shit was crazy.
And so I feel like there's I scour the places. Is there someone who's small now that would be like 5 or 10,000 to bring over that could be like this huge star like Diplo? And it's almost like you can't it's impossible to do now.
Right.
Because people start and they get one track and then it costs $50,000, $100,000 to book them. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. That was the one with what was the MC dude that jumped off the ladder?
Scarrett Boy did the ladder daggering off the ladder. He did a triple dagger. We lined up 3 girls and jumped off the ladder onto the girls.
That's called whining, when you get up behind someone and you just kind of grind.
Daggering.
Okay, this guy does daggering. Yeah. He takes it to the next level.
Whining is being nice. Daggering is putting your girl's head in a garbage can.
Yeah, and this at one point in the show, he climbed up on a ladder and he jumped off of it to some girl laying on the stage with her legs open, right? And then he just jumped right on her and started daggering her.
Yeah. And so Scarrett Boy,
what a name.
He was amazing, and then he came back. We brought him back for 2 or 3 shows, and then he got Jesus, and so he went from daggering to. That guy is on
passing
Twitch,
out communion on Sunday.
Plays electronic church music.
Wow.
And so, hey man, everyone's up to their thing, you know. Whatever, I still see him. I say what's up. Yeah, but it's just kind of like, man, he went from really one side to the other.
There's probably a reason for that.
All right, we got one more weird, wacky question for you. We had this last week and we didn't get around to it, so this is a little surprise pop question. I don't know if I sent you this one. Would you rather get attacked by 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
The small ones. You know, like you can fend off. You can fend off. I've heard this question before, so you can fend off the little ones and just kind of knock them around.
100 horses attacking at one time.
But they're small. Okay, so you can get if you get a duck the size of a horse, you're gonna be pretty fucked up. I think. So.
I agree.
So I think it's much easier to fight smaller things.
You just gotta fucking kick them. Just boot them. Just fucking.
Even if they end up getting you, you're still gonna knock out like 30 of them at least, right? Whereas a duck-sized horse, if it gets you, you're through.
Yeah.
That sounds like a event we need to have on this show.
Yeah.
We trap somebody in our studio and they go, "What's going on?" And we just say, "Well, just wait a second. We have a surprise for you." And then we open the door and like 100 ducks come running out. We'll film the whole thing, see what the fuck happens.
We do not promote the killing of ducks.
And
no, nothing killed. We're just going to be filming this motherfucker scared to hell.
Where are you going to get a duck-sized horse?
Yeah.
Or a horse-sized duck?
Well, last week in our episode, we talked about hybrids. There might even be one out there somewhere. Who knows? It's probably in China.
I bet there's some in Rob Jabaz's head.
Oh, yeah.
And they got some teeth and they got some shit like that, man. Shit.
All right, well, shit. We had a fucking good time with DJ Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah, we did.
We're going to wind this thing down. Every time we wind it down, we have a couple things we do. We do shout-outs, we do word of the day, and then after the episode's over, we're going to do our membership Lucky Dice Roll.
Yep.
Right.
Jay Stevens, you got a word for us today, bro?
Yeah, my word of the day is Shavu, in honor of us being able to party soon. Shavu is a boisterous party, so within the next few weeks, we're hoping to throw a couple massive Shavus here.
That's right. Shavuing. We are going to be Shavuing.
Yes, we are.
Shavu.
The people are waiting to fucking Shavu.
Oh, yeah. I know people in America are Shavuing.
Yes, they are.
Taiwan, we're getting back into the mix real soon.
Woo.
All right, my word of the day is Criticaster. Now, you hear the word critic in the beginning, you're probably right. It's got something to do with critic. Criticaster is someone with an inferior critique on something. Okay, it's not a bad, it's just their opinion means nothing. So it's kind of like it's like a small child come up to you and telling you that you're stupid or something. It doesn't really mean much. It's an inferior critique of what's going on. So if someone tells you you're bad at something and they're themselves are fucking nothing, they're a criticaster. Their critique of you is inferior. So don't listen to those haters.
So it's like the guys in the club, the DJs that go see the other DJ in the club, and they just sit there and they're like, "Oh, that guy sucks. That guy sucks."
Yeah.
They're criticasters.
Yes, they are.
If you're the person at the club too that comes up to the DJ with your phone and puts a playlist up for him to see it, you are a criticaster.
Boom.
Shut the fuck up. Enjoy the party. Put your phone away. Have fun.
Yep.
All right, we usually do shout outs ourselves, me and Jay Stevens, but since we got Marcus Aurelius here, we're going to see if he wants to shout anybody out. So, M.A., you got anybody, bro?
I'm going to shout out a lot of the old Taiwan crew.
Oh, yeah.
That used to hang out at the Croc House.
Oh, yeah, I probably know most of these names.
I'm going to say I give a shout out to Dominic Hooker.
Oh yeah, Big Dom.
I give a shout out to my girlfriend who lived at the Croc House. Shit, Dion.
Yeah.
I give a shout out to Junior. I give a shout out to Megan. I give a shout out to Cassandra. I give a shout out to Timmy. I give a shout out to John. Who else was at the Croc
Scotty
House?
Baller was in the mix.
Scotty Baller. I've been actually talking to him. I've been watching him on Twitch. He's been doing pretty well on there.
Big shout out Scotty Baller doing his thing.
Scotty Baller's in the house. Yeah, man. I mean, the Croc House, I look at my life of like, I've been influenced by three things. Hip hop, skateboarding, and a Croc House. And those three things kind of like taught me to just keep going and do what you want and do it your way, you know?
The Croc House is a legendary party house here. I was a part of it. He was a part of it.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to a party there?
Nope.
Did you ever make it?
Nope.
Most of those stories are not suitable for this show. We're going to slowly leak them out over time, I would imagine. But yeah, the people he gave a shout out to, some of our old crew that we used to party with, most of them all DJs. We would throw these massive parties at this house, and we'd have turntables set up, and we'd have 10 DJs there, fresh music all day, all night, all afternoon, all into the next night.
Yeah, and since today is almost a typhoon, that was one of the funnest times. Typhoon Day in Taiwan is like a snow day in the United States, and it's just like you get to do whatever you want. And so we'd go over there, and you had a turntable set up on the fish tank.
Yeah,
which was the cool shit. And then just everyone would grab as much beer as possible, and then you're just stuck inside for like 24 hours, man. And just you can play music and get crazy and do whatever you want, man. It was great.
And they got the big iron roll-down doors on the windows, so when it really started coming in, you just rolled the iron doors down on the window. It got pitch black. You didn't have any sense of time or anything, and you just did what you had to do to pass time.
So shout out to the Croc House.
Yeah.
Still alive.
All right, and shout out to you, the viewer and listener, from your boy Fratzuki and Jay Stevens, Marcus Aurelius. This is the Weird Sauce Show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
We out.
Yeah.